Hi everyone, Joel and Jim here for another round of live Q&A. How are you going, Jim?
Yeah, I'm good.
Great. That's great to hear. So I've got a few questions here, but I'll run through a few housekeeping as people are.
He hasn't told me the question. He wants me to see them without anybody without knowing in advance what they're about. So
that's correct.
Yes,
exactly right. Yeah, generally, Jim will say before 5 minutes, what are they? But I want to get fresh reaction and true off-the-cuff answer. So I'll just start with some housekeeping as people start tuning in. So just a reminder, the hashtag Jim's logo comp is up live. There's some pretty cool entries online that I've been seeing. And next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out a whole stack of them and I'll show them to Jim and we'll keep going that way. All you need to do is head to jims.net. In the top right corner, there's a button which says logo competition. Click that and there's a generator there. Go nuts with it. Upload it to social media. Make sure you use hashtag Jim's logo comp. Another exciting thing that happened during the week was we got the audiobook version of this book here, Every Customer a Fan, which you can download the MP3 file now from jims.net. So if you head to jims.net, there's a tab there which says Meet Jim. Has all about Jim and all his social channels, but it also has a free version of this as an audiobook,
which is good. It's not me actually dictating it, but it's all my words. But somebody else.
Yeah, a guy called
got a better voice than me.
A guy called Carl from the Voice Market done a great job of it. And we thank you to Carl. And also remember again tonight, guys, the best question that Jim likes the most, he'll mark it down and he'll award Jim's book. And I'll pick one as well, and I will do a signed book of this. So both of these will be signed. 2 books are up to grab. So please interact on the post and leave a question. That'd be awesome. And remember, as always, follow Jim's social accounts on Instagram. It's at Jim Penman, at Jim Penman Official on Facebook, and also on Twitter, it's Jim Penman2. The Instagram's getting a lot of bit of traction and stuff, so it's great. There's a lot of interaction on there. So at Jim Penman for Instagram as well. And tonight, guys, we're doing cross-posting. So if you don't know what cross-posting is, we have obviously a few divisions which we own and Facebook pages. So this video stream is going out to around, I think, 13 or 14 other divisions pages. With cross-posting in Facebook, we can only see the comments via the Jim's Group head office page. So if you're on the mowing feed, for example, and watching this video, we won't be able to see your comment or question there. But what will happen is a guy called Jake, who's our new content creator guy, he's going to try and monitor those pages and flick through anything that comes via them. So I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see it. So head to Jim's Group head office page and leave your comment or question here, and that way I can definitely see it. So let's get into it. I've got 4 banked up here ready to go, and we'll get to the ones in the feed in a minute. So Jaden Hackett via Facebook message during the week said, when you first started your business, what were your values then, and have they changed? And if so, why? Lastly, did you ever have a goal of being this big, or just has it just panned out that way?
Okay, my values were basically all about customer service, you might say. And I don't know if you call them values. I just have a passion for customers. I always hated letting customers down. I hated doing a job less than perfect. I always believed in honesty too. I mean, I know there's a lot of evasion and tax evasion and cash goes on in the industry. I always believed in paying full tax. I don't like paying so much tax, but I don't believe in evading it. It has to be this big, no possible way. It was a part-time student job. It was nothing. It was just get outside, get some fresh air, get some exercise, earn some not bad money while I worked on my academic career. And it was just a shock to me when my academic career went nowhere. So I ended up being a full-time lawn mowing contractor. But even then, I had no idea what would happen. I thought this is just until something better comes along. And even after the start of the franchise, I really didn't think of it as something big. So it took me a long time to figure out, hey, this Jim's thing isn't too bad after all.
There you go. That's a great question,
Complete lack of foresight. I absolutely no ability to predict anything.
So it's a great question, Jaden. Thanks for that one. So here's another. This is an interesting one by Colin Harper. He actually won the book last week. So, Colin, we posted this out to you, so you should have it soon.
Well, you can't get another one.
Well,
no matter how good the question.
Exactly right. So you might be.
We can get the other book, maybe.
That's true. So he's gone, I see more professional gardening independents with horticultural industry qualifications. Are clients influenced by a franchisee's qualifications? Is more quality business gained by having horticultural qualifications? What are Jim's thoughts on this?
Look, in terms of who people choose, I don't think it's got any advantage at all. Basically, whether people take you depends on, well, Jim's brand helps a lot. It's the fact of getting back to clients quickly, sounding good on the phone. Where horticulture really helps is you go to mow somebody's lawns, and if you know about the other stuff, you can upsell. So instead of going in for a $60 lawn, you can go in and get $300 to redo their garden, or pesticides, or all kinds of great stuff. So we found that people with Hawk qualifications actually do very well, but it's not to do with getting the clients, it's what you make of them. That also means you've got more money per client, but it's very attractive to the client, so that you can offer a lot more than simply a lawn mowing job, for example.
It's a great question, Colin, and thanks for that one.
And I have to say, I have absolutely no horticultural qualifications, know very little about gardening. I was very good at mowing lawns and doing the digging over and getting the earth right and trimming things back, and I could do that well, but I know very little about gardening. I still know very little, actually.
But as you went back in the day when you were doing your contracting business, did you go out of your way to, let's say someone wants to do pruning, did you sort of learn on the job, or how did you tackle it when you didn't know the task?
Actually, my clients taught me how to do stuff.
Your clients taught you how to do it?
How to do pruning and stuff like that. Yeah, in the very early days when I was working for $1.50 an hour. So
$1.50 an hour?
That was when it started back in 1970, $1.50 per hour. Yeah.
So there you go.
Did make a lot then.
So everyone, there's a lot of people tuning in now. We've got 40 eyes, already 5 minutes into it. So thanks for tuning in. I'll just run through some shout outs here as Jim turns off his phone, if you can hear that in the background. So Caleb Templeman's tuned in. David Pollard, who's our test and tag divisional manager's tuned in. Hi, David.
Hi, Dave.
Shane Baggett he's all getting tuned in
Shane,
again.
he just rang me this afternoon.
Did he again?
Talking about a client that did. Turned up to got a job which was a single mow, and turned out to be did the client a favour to get there, and turned out to be a $3,000 job, which is the perfect example of what we were just talking about.
That's important because I know in the group, obviously our guys have the chance to say regular or one-off clients, and a lot of them say, "Oh, we only want the regular clients," but they don't realise how much work they could potentially be losing out on that once.
$3,000. He said 3 days' work. He just talked about that this afternoon.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in again, Shane. Jeremy Singer here's gone with the question. Hi, Jim. What's your favourite beer, mate? He hasn't watched some of the previous ones, I would say.
My favourite beer?
Yes.
Water.
Water. Yeah.
The only alcohol I've actually drunk in the past 40-something years was when I went to a friend's wedding and they had Holy Communion and they had a sip of wine. That's my first drink for decades.
So there you go. Maybe if you change the VB to say JB, Jim's bitter. So we'll get down here. So Kale Glenn has gone. When did you put on your first employee, and how did you know it was the right time to do so?
Well, I had a subbies pretty early, back when I was just mowing lawns myself with pre-franchise days. And I can't say I did very well. Our customer service was terrible in those days. As I often say, in those days, for every lead, we used to get on average 1 complaint. These days, it's more like 1% complaints. So it's vastly better. It was difficult. I didn't have a lot to offer subbies in those days. I don't know. I don't say I'm great at employing people. I mostly trial and error. We find people who are good and we just look after them and try and keep them. The biggest thing is, if you get somebody good, you've got to hold them. You've got to work out what will make them happy. So if you've got somebody, helping you mow lawns, make sure if you've got somebody good, you look after them, you buy them lunch and give them a bit of a bonus and be nice to them. And I try and be nice to my staff. I'm not saying I'm always very good at it, but we do our best here.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the question there, Kale, Glenn. Appreciate it. Daniel James has gone, hey, guys. Thanks, Daniel, for tuning in. Cameron Smith's gone, evening, Jim and Joel. Jim, what's been the greatest moment in the Jim's group? Great question.
The greatest moment in my life in the past, in my whole life, was the day I met my wife, which was actually 18 years ago, Saturday before last. So that's not in Jim's group, but it's probably done more good for Jim's group than anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I reckon meeting Lee was the single best thing that ever happened to me and to my business. So that's not perhaps the answer, but there's many things. Actually, a lot of my high points is hearing from somebody who's been successful, somebody who actually contacts me and says, this was a great move. I wish I'd done this. Or like I mentioned Shane before, but that kind of response when franchises get back to me and say, I'm so happy. This has been great for me. I've got a new life. I've got flexibility. My marriage is better than it used to be because I go out working with my wife. I have to say the best time is comments from individual franchisees. I love that. I really love hearing from franchisees successful. And the funny thing is franchisees often don't contact me because they think I'm too busy, but it's actually the best thing. It's my high point of my week, honestly, when I hear that. Because that's what it's all about. I mean, everything we do is to make franchisees successful, and that's all about it, and that's the greatest satisfaction. And I think our best franchisors, which is most of them, probably think much the same way. their greatest satisfaction is seeing somebody helpful, being helped, and having a great life. That is a great reward. There's nothing like it.
Thanks for that question. That was really good, Cameron. I'll keep running down here. There's a lot of people tuning in now. We've got 50 people really early on the piece. Thanks for tuning in. As I said, we're cross-posting tonight. So if you're watching via one of the other feeds like Handyman or Mowing or something like that, I can't see any comments on that feed. If you come to the Gyms Group head office Facebook page and put your comment or question in there, I can see it and we'll eventually get to it. But we're not ignoring you if you're watching via one of the other pages. We just can't see it. So I'll keep running down here. So Caleb, Jake, Patterson has gone, what's the weirdest, most out there gyms division? I don't know if you'd say there's anyone that's weird, but
most of our divisions aren't particularly strange. I mean, what's difficult about mowing or fencing or cleaning? It's not actually the great. It's not the strange idea for a service. It's the innovation is in how you deliver that service effectively. That's what the original part of gyms, not what we do, but how we get to do it the way we do it effectively with the best customer service.
Yeah. Well, gyms, I think, gone beyond the traditional perception of just like mowing that. Now, obviously, there's real estate, bookkeeping, finance, conveyancing. There's more professional services, but they are come to you professional services as well. So I think we've extended to it. Whatever can go to someone's place, that's what we're trying to do, regardless.
But we don't do site-based stuff.
No site.
So we don't want to. We'd never get into fast food or anything because it's totally different. We want to. We go to see somebody else. We're open to anything. We could have 500 divisions one day. Who knows? Yeah. But the point is not so much to have so many divisions; it's to have each division successful. To us, a great division is one with at least 100 franchisees, and there's mowing, cleaning, fencing, dog wash.
Building inspections,
pool cares just lasted.
Brett's doing well,
Test and tech. I think they're the main ones. Yeah. Who have I forgotten?
But we've got the other ones, more than 100 here. I can't think of anything on the top of my head.
And there's some that are closing on it, too, like antennas. I forgot about antennas.
Yeah, antennas definitely.
About 140.
Yeah, antennas got a lot.
And there's a few closing on it, like pest control, for example.
Yes. So. And I'll get there.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird, though, I was supposed to mention this at the start, but I will show it to you for people who haven't seen this. So, with the logo comp, there's been some funny things I've been seeing online, and I found this one during the week, which I did send to Jim. So if you can see that, someone has got a tattoo. I'll put it up to there.
That is.
Someone has got a tattoo of "Where's Jim?" So obviously a Where's Wally, then Jim reference. And I flicked this to you on an email. I think you'll reply with me, which is 2 exclamation marks. Yeah. So I'm not saying get a Jim's tattoo, but if you do have a Jim's tattoo,
I tell you what, that's not a bad idea. They do "Where's Wally" books. Why don't we do a "Where's Jim" book?
Where's Jim book? Wouldn't be? That's actually not a bad one. That's a good, very, very good idea. Yeah. I've seen a couple of tattoos online. That was the first one I've shown Jim, but I'm not endorsing if you get a Jim's tattoo.
Well, nor am I. One of my daughters is very keen to get a tattoo, only a small one. And I said, I'm not keen on tattoos, so please don't.
But if you do get one, just on the off chance, let us know about it. Send it in. That goes for anything. If you've got a sporting club or you're racing cars or remember that demolition car with Jim's on it, send it in to us and we'll give you a plug on the social stuff. All right, thanks for tuning in. There's 58 people on the live feed now, really early on. It's awesome. We'll run through some shout outs and stuff here. So Stuart Rainbow's gone, g'day Jim and Joel, and hello Jake, all tuned in here, guys.
Stuart, I had a chat with Stuart this afternoon too. He's talking about a new franchisee just taken on, which is great.
Nice. So we've got Jim's Mowing Bay of Plenty Hawke's Bay tunes in, evening tuned over at the ditch. They're based in New Zealand. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, good.
Haydar Hussein is tuned in again. Great stuff. Haydar, we're going to interview Haydar soon, which I think he's got a great story to tell.
Haydar's got some really, really good stuff.
It's going to be great
I'm going to have lunch with him next week. It's going to be fantastic. Awesome. I learn a lot from Haydar.
So Zach's tuned in again. Okay, so Jeannie Cameron's tuning in again. He's just started with us in a nice role. So hi, Jeannie. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, Jeannie's our new...
for Jim's Go Plates, Jim's Plus.
Oh, well, you'll find out more about us. More than you probably wanted to know, Jeannie. But anyway, she's doing a great job. She's had a great start.
Yeah, so I'll just run through the shout-outs and I'll go back up and go through the questions. So I'm not ignoring anyone. Jayesh Palero Vicara. Hi, Jim's Cleaning Rudy Hill. Thanks for tuning in. Jayesh always does. Tony Gale from Jim's Finance has tuned in. Hi, Jim and Joel. Great work. Thanks for tuning in, Tony, and the comment. Okay, I'll run back up here to go through a few of the questions that people have left. So, okay, Chris Hill has gone. Evening. What's the biggest saving you've been able to make in your business that has not had a negative impact on your staff or customers? Great question. I like that one.
Technology, basically. Our cost of taking calls and sending out jobs is probably, 20% of what it used to be. And it just gets better all the time. We're developing new things where we can recognize the phone numbers. So when existing client rings them, which is about half the time, we know who they are. Just technology is amazing. We're developing a new program for franchisees, which is going to do an enormous amount of stuff to help them be more efficient, and also another one for our franchisors, both getting done offshore in India. So we spend pretty close to $2 million a year on IT in gyms, and it's the best possible advantage. It just gives us massive benefits. So yeah, IT is fantastic for us. It will be impossible to do what we do right now if we didn't have advanced IT systems.
Yeah, we're always looking to get better. We've got the social stuff we're doing now, obviously, and the website stuff as well. So we're trying our best to progress forward. It's definitely moving a lot quicker than what it has.
Yeah,
I reckon the previous few years at least.
Well, Joel's taken a big role in all this too, looking at things like how fast our websites load, which is a huge factor. It's supposed to be no more than 3 seconds. Some of us are taking 11 seconds to. And this is one of the initiatives that Joel took to improve on that, and also look at the way that people look at a page and how quickly they can find what they want, and what's the conversion rate, and how you book a job in so that people don't drop out during the process. I mean, there's an enormous amount of stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, so we have like heat map tracking on web pages and user experience stuff.
You can actually look at where somebody's been hitting with their mouse. To see what they're doing and why we're losing them from this point to that. It's quite extraordinary, actually. The difference can be made just by redesigning the page. How much better how much more information you can get.
Yeah, exactly right.
How many more clients will actually go through?
It's a great question, Chris. Thanks for that one. So I'll go down here. Lydia Ryan's gone, "G'day, Jim. Great to see businesses booming. Have you considered branching into essential oils, Tupperware, or CrossFit endeavors?" Do you know what CrossFit is?
No.
So CrossFit's like I'm not saying it's a fad, but it's like a sport where it's a hybrid cardio workout and a lot of weights and all that sort of stuff. So we do have Jim's personal training, Lydia. So Jim's personal training, I guess, is our version
part of that.
Yeah.
The way our system works is once a division owns a certain service, you can't take it away from them. Otherwise, it undermines existing franchisees.
Yeah.
So crossfitting would belong in personal training. But personal training is very exciting. I love that. I'm a great believer in fitness. I think everybody should try to be fit. So we're really excited about personal training, getting off to a great start.
Yeah, it's good. So how many kilometers do you run a day again? How many kilometers was it?
I usually run a 5K a day.
5K a day.
Well, that's on a treadmill, but I do I walk and I do work on my farm and I do all kinds of things. I just believe keeping fit, going outside, getting enough sleep, these are all things that are all absolutely essential to having a good mind and good mood and having that energy.
That's it. So I'll keep going down here. So there's a few people tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know you're here with a like, share, comment, or question. I'll get to them. If I don't get them to this week, I bank them up and I always add them on the piece of paper down here and they will get asked. So if you're leaving a question, we don't ignore it. We'll put it on for the next week, but we'll try and get to as many as we can tonight. There's a few people tuning in, which is great. All right, so we'll keep running down here. There's another question up here, which I'll find. Dino Breeze going, "Hi, Jim. Do you still mow your own lawns?"
Just at my farm.
Yeah. And you use an electric mower, isn't it?
I use a battery powered mower.
Power.
So I use an AEG, which is really nice, actually. I mean, you have to change the battery a couple of times during the course of it, but it's very quiet, which is great, and it's just easy. You just pull and it starts and it stops when you take the thing off. I love my battery powered mowers. It'd be great when we get to the stage where the batteries are good enough so that we can use them. I know some franchises actually do use these battery powered ones. And they're great too because they've got less vibration. Sometimes franchisees get problems with the motion,
right? The
vibration.
Oh yeah.
And also just with the noise. You wear headphones, but it's very noisy. So I think battery powered is great. I'm looking forward to having a battery to electric car one of these days when the price comes down.
The Tesla, you won't go the Tesla at the moment?
I'm not that rich.
So we'll keep going down here. So thanks for tuning in. Zach got Zucker again. We're going to do it this week, Zach. We're going to put on the page. That answers that one. Cameron Smith's gone, hey, Joel, what's been your greatest moment in gyms? Question for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me personally, it's obviously my greatest moment in gyms has probably been still being here, I guess, after 8 years. No, it's been probably I've been lucky enough to work in a lot of different areas here. I haven't been siloed into one area. The greatest moment for me is when I like being able to use my initiative and say, hey, Jim, do you want to do Facebook Live? And I explain it to him and he says, yes, give it a go. Then we can do it and see an outcome. Mm. So I like being able to initiative, do it, outcome with no red tape. And I don't have that here. So that's probably a generalistic answer. But also the new gyms.net website. I work very hard on that with our web developer. to upgrade that. So that's probably another one as well. Plus the content stuff we're doing. I'm looking forward to it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for Jim's Group. There's going to be a lot of good content coming in the next 2 months. I promise you that. So we'll keep going down here. Jared Carson's gone.
So I just say one of the good things about a business this size, I've only employed about 40 staff.
Yeah.
Is that I can actually know what people are doing. So somebody who's got some good ideas can just bring them up and they can basically promote themselves.
Yeah, you can. You know,
some of my top people are actually quite young. They're in 3 of my top people are, basically 20s or very early 30s, and just come up through the system because they say, I'd like to try this. Yeah, have a go. I mean, if it doesn't work out, well, it doesn't work out, but why not try it out?
That's exactly right. So Jared Carson, he's gone from first call to starting as a franchisee. What is the time frame? Diggers. So someone calls up and says, I want to buy a Diggers franchise. What's the time frame from actually that call to buying it? To actually starting in the field, I guess.
Well, you have to have the contract for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And usually they won't train you until you've done the contract. So, it could be 3 or 4 weeks if you wanted to go. Obviously, you have to spend some time on the road learning how to do it. It's not that simple. I actually had to go with one of the machines once, and it's not as easy as it looks. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really, really great, but I was terrible at it. The other guys who were doing it were so much better. So you need to learn a bit, but it can be very fast. The main thing is the government, which is fair enough. You've got to have the contract for 2 weeks so that you don't make rash decisions.
Yeah, you're supposed to go see a business advisor and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, look, essentially, technically it could be 2 weeks, I guess. If you want to inquiry, then give me a contract that day. But obviously got to come to training as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe a couple of months. Yeah.
So look, some people have started within a month, I think, of
within a month
inquiry. It can be very fast.
Right.
But yeah, it's mostly people making up their mind. And I would say to anybody too, if you're interested in a franchise, take your time about it, and especially do your homework. Ring as many franchisees as possible, and that means gyms or anybody else. Do your homework. I'm astonished people will buy a franchise. They'll spend anything, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, whatever. And they won't spend an hour doing some basic research, just ringing up franchisees and saying, what's it like? Would you do it again? Are they looking after you well? How much work is there? Is the income good? Just basic questions like that.
Thanks for that one. There's a few people tuning in. There's a lot of comments and questions coming on the feed, so I'm not ignoring them. I'm just trying to work my way down in order to make sure the first ones get addressed. So Darren Burr has gone here. This is an interesting one. We haven't had this before. Question for Jim. Not all franchisees or ZORs guarantee a franchisee's workmanship. Do you, as CEO of the Jim's Group, guarantee that you will rectify a franchisee's mistakes by putting the customer first and not leaving them out of pocket? ?
Well, yeah, effectively we do. I mean, I have to know about it. So we have a system where if the complaint isn't fixed the first time, it's sent to me. And basically what I will do is I'll send an email back to the client, copied to the franchisee, and saying, you need to do this, you need to fix this up, until the client, if they doesn't happen by X, contact me, and then I'll get somebody else to do it, or a refund or whatever. And if the franchisee's left, then we have a thing called a warranty fund, which is a contribution between $100 and $2,000 from new franchisees.
Yeah.
So as far as I know about a problem, we will always, always, always fix a client problem, no matter how big it is. We fixed one fencing job, $120,000 from an ex-franchisee. So there is no limit to what we'll do. And I personally, as CEO of the company, the only exception, as I said, is if the client doesn't let us know about it, or they make one inquiry and don't take it further. But if they pursue it, I will make sure they're fixed.
Yeah, it's best to pursue via those methods. Thanks for that question, Darren. Hopefully it answered it.
It's strange. Sometimes clients actually threaten legal action and social media and stuff. You just have to ask, just ask, put it through. So I haven't got it fixed up. This is the issue. I want it fixed, and we fix it. It would be quite intolerable that we don't. Mind you, customers are not always right. Sometimes we had one particular customer he had a cleaning and a mowing job done. There was a move out. And in both cases claimed that not only was the job badly done, but they caused more damage. And they wanted not only their money back, but more money. Now, after investigating, that was really suspicious. And we just didn't do it. We actually had one other case too, where the client complained that the carpet cleaner had wrecked the carpet. They wanted the whole carpet in the house replaced. We had an expert come in, have a look at it, said this machine could not have caused that problem. The client actually went to court, and we went to court to defend the franchisee. And when the idiot of a magistrate decided that some small payment was due, We paid it from the warranty fund because the franchise. So if there's a genuine problem, we will fix it. On the other hand, if a genuine expert opinion is that the franchisee did nothing wrong, we will support our franchisee.
It's a great question, and thanks for leaving that one here. So I'll run down here. Dominic Bushell has gone, any gyms franchises international? Yes, they are.
Yeah.
New Zealand has 8 different divisions there.
About
UK, Canada.
300 and about 60 odd in Canada and about 25 in UK.
Yeah, head to gyms.net and if they'll have them all there. So Michael Taylor's gone, can we have a Jim's beer run service? Well, if someone comes to us with a van and we can put Jim's head on there and a beer run delivery on that, why not?
But basically, somebody's got to come to us with, look, a lot of the visions we thought of, I didn't even know test and tag was a separate thing. I thought Sparky said it. So somebody came to us and we've got a division, I've got a business. I'm in Albury-Wodonga, I'm flat out of work, just in Albury-Wodonga. I said, wow, well, if you can be flat out in Albury-Wodonga, we could fit, 500 in Australia. We've actually got 5 guys working in Albury-Wodonga, so it's a big business. But I never even knew such a thing existed until somebody came to us. The thing we look for, if you come with a new division, it's not so much what we look for is income. If the person running the business can't show at least $60 an hour, we're not interested. Now, having said that, a lot of our franchisees make a lot more than that, obviously, and Shane's a good example of that. We was talking about the other week, but we have to see the potential that an ordinary person without any special Superman skills can make at least $60 an hour. And apart from that, we're not interested in doing it.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'll just run through here. 56 people tuned in at the moment. Great. We're cross-posting, so if I'm not getting you a question or comment, make sure you leave it on the Gyms Group head office one. I'll try and get to it. There's a lot coming through at the moment, which is great. If we don't address it this week, we'll bank it up for next week's one. I'll keep going down here. So Scott Burton, I'll leave that question for the end if we got time. Zach Zuckert again has asked, what's the plan of action once the worst happens? Hopefully not for a long time. So I guess if there's a succession plan, we covered on this last week, but just a reminder for people, there is something in place.
Yeah. I got some very competent people. It's a mistake to think that Gyms Group is just me. There's a lot of people, and I'm not just talking head office. We have a financial advisor who is a great guy who would chair it. Spends about half his time working pro bono for a Christian charity, as a matter of fact. He's a wonderful guy, very, very capable. But you've also got a lot of very, very capable franchisors and divisionals. So there's an enormous amount to Gyms Group, more than one person. I think there's some solidity here. If it's well run, well, I hope I make a difference, but I don't think it'll fall to pieces without me. Yeah,
that's a good one. Thanks for that question. Sarah Jane's gone, have you branched out into anything health related yet? We have. Jim's personal training would be health related.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, do we have anything else that's health related?
I think it's great, actually. I love things to do with personal training and health. I'm a huge believer in that kind of stuff.
But I know you want the group. You're saying you want optometrists, you want physios, so
doctors, chiropractors.
We'd love to.
We'd like them all. We've actually targeted some of those professions. Once again, it's not so much the idea of the business; it's to find the right person to run it that's hard.
Zach goes, where can you buy Jim's book? You can buy it from Amazon, Booktopia, or bookstores in Australia. To my knowledge, have that at the moment, which is great. Matt Sheldon's gone here. Hi, Jim. Do you have a benchmark for star ratings? Cheers. What's your benchmark? What do you think is a benchmark for star ratings?
You mean what's the minimum level?
Yeah, I'd say do you have a benchmark for star ratings? So do you want everyone to be like a 4.5 or?
Well, the average Jim's franchisee is 4.5. So that's probably a little bit biased because most franchisees will be 4.5 plus, but you've got some that are like 3.2 and there's some terrible ones down there, I'm afraid to say. Generally speaking, if I looked and saw a 4.6 rating, I would get that person to come and wash my dog or fix my antenna or anything. I have total confidence in anybody at least 4.6. And one of the things I love to do when franchises contact me, I always check their star rating. And if they're good at star rating, which most of them have, I would always congratulate them. It's one of the things I really like to be able to do. Because star ratings are positive, unlike say lack of complaints, which is basically negative.
That's a great question, Matt. Matt's one of our mining franchisees. He's also the face of Jim's memeing. They use him as the profile picture, and I only found that out last week. So thanks for tuning in, Matt, and your interaction on the feed. Ange is tuned in. He sits behind us. Zach, Jim's Memes has got a Facebook page now, so he's come on board. There's a question here from Will Potter. Hey, Jim, do you have a Jim's data recovery franchise? That would fall under Jim's Computer Services, that one. Michael Taylor's gone, Jim's Avengers. Sounds all right. We could have Jim's Avengers, all the different divisions.
Jim's Avengers, yeah. What does Jim's Avengers do? Go and wipe out your enemies. Well, my kids have all gone and seen that film, I must say. So that's a good franchise. Makes a bit more money than we do, I must say.
Yeah, the Marvel franchise is definitely a good one to be in.
As I say to many people, I'm a lot more famous than I'm rich. It's a funny thing, you know. I was in Officeworks the other day, and my daughter was there, and she said, "This guy's that's Jim, and they were taking photos of me."
Oh, really? Did they ask you to take a photo with you, or just take?
No, I didn't see it. She just noticed it. That's the real Jim. It's very funny being a kind of celebrity, isn't it?
If you're watching and see Jim out, ask him for a photo. I'm sure he'll oblige you.
Yeah, I always.
He might not smile though. You might have to do something funny to get him to smile. All right. So maybe if people don't know, how did they get you to smile on the gym again on the logo?
We tend to put the tongue in the photographer's ear. That's why I'm smiling on the logo.
That's the way to get it. So if you see Jim in about, feel free to ask him for a photo and have him for a chat. I'm sure he's happy to do it. Cameron Scott's tuned in. So Cameron Scott's from Jim's Electrical and Tennis. Hi, Jim and Joel. Hope you're well, guys. Thanks for tuning in, Cameron.
Big man in gyms. A lot of franchisees to it, Cameron.
Nadine Peters is tuned in. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, here's a question here. KT Choi's tuned in. Hi, Jim. Jim's mowing Wyndham Vale Central here.
Yeah.
Steve Raymond, he goes, Jim, I have a cleaning franchise. What's the best way to find good subbies? He has tons of work coming in, which is great to hear. Good question.
Just try people out and keep on trying them. Don't give up. It's very hard to find good people. So you try a few people out, you watch them, you find somebody who's got their heart in what they do, not necessarily the most fast, but somebody who cares about the quality, and look after them. That's the biggest thing. People, you've got to look after your people. And that's something we think a lot about. It's not just franchisees and franchisors, it's also staff members internally. You know, what are we going to do? Like we're getting this gym done. And it's
Jim's Gym.
It's on our site here, and it's sort of for the conference center. But my wife who runs it says it's not worth it for the conference center, not the amount of money. And I said yes, but it'll keep my staff happy and fit. So you always got to think about, in a sense, everything's about service. You give service to your clients. If you're a franchisor, you give service to your franchisees. But also, if you're an employer, you give service to the people who work for you, because they're almost the most important of all, because they're the ones. Well, no, they're not more important, but you've got to try and find good people and then keep them happy. That's the whole nature of it.
So with Steve, for example, if he's interviewing people or subbies, how would he maybe? Was there things he might be able to look out for in terms of character, or is it just a trial and error thing?
I'd take him out on the road. Quite frankly, I find it very difficult to interview people successfully. I'm not good at it. But if you put somebody out on the road, look, for example, if we were taking out somebody mowing lawns, we would show them what to do. You know, you say, okay, you go around the edge of the lawn and then you mow straight lines. Now, at the end of the day, if they're not doing that without being asked, then they're no good. They're not listening to you. Or the same thing is moving a hose. If you've got a hose in the corner of the grass, you pick it up, call it on the garden, and you mow to the edge. If you remind them once or twice, if they're not doing it by the end of the day. So you look for that kind of listen, take advice, learn how to do it, have a care for professionalism, not incredibly fast, just a good attitude, a learning attitude. That's what I'd look for, and I'd try them out. I just try them out and see how they go. It's
a great question, Steve.
Yeah.
Hopefully, good luck with finding another good subby.
Work with them yourself first. That's the best way. We've got a lot of our top franchisees have multiple employees, but they always start working with them directly, and they trial them out and they learn that under their eye, watching their job, and only after they've really proved themselves there, they put them in charge of a vehicle.
That's a great one. 56 people still tuning in, which is great. There's a lot of interaction in the comments, which is awesome. We'll keep going for a little bit longer. We are cross-posting, so we're not ignoring you if you're on the other feeds watching this.
Is that coming through?
No, I haven't had any questions through from the other pages yet. I don't think they're not coming through to me in the little chat here, but we're not ignoring you. But leave your question and comments on the Gym Script head office page, and we'll get to as many as we can. So I'll run through someone here. Carl Hitchmo, who's the voice marketer, who actually voiced your book. He's watching now.
Oh, well.
So he's going, you obviously provide a very thorough training and induction course for all of your new franchises. Do you or have you ever thought about opening up this valuable resource to others who run their own business as a service or product in its own right?
Sorry, what do you mean by?
So, because you obviously have a good training and induction and all these things we do internally, just as a general business, if you don't want to maybe buy a gym's franchise, but you want to do the training, have you ever thought about maybe?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Look, we actually are looking at a scheme right now where we go to people who can't afford a franchise and say, look, how about if we help you to get going in business? We'll provide you with a day's training, basically for customer service, and you can use our software. We'll show you how to use that, and you can have that free for 6 months. We'll get you insurance. We'll give you 100 leads, surplus leads that our guys can't handle through our Go Blitz Gyms Plus system. So that's a package to get you going, and a little bit of support. And the idea is to help somebody to get into business. And hopefully, I have to admit, down the track a bit, trying to get them to understand that gyms is the best way to come, but perhaps an easier way in to get started in business for yourself. And sometimes when a person's got an established business, we'll actually give them a pretty good deal to get into gyms just to sort of rebrand.
Yeah, yeah.
So we are definitely looking at providing that kind of service and support. It's quite noticeable actually when we have this system called Go Blitz where we pass unserviced leads out to independents, and most of them pretty good, but you get about nearly 3 times as many negative comments as you do from our guys. So training people in customer service is incredibly important, and people don't realize that. Our system gives a lot of feedback. So if you get a complaint or a thing, somebody will talk to you and say, okay, why did that happen? So that kind of feedback, because everybody thinks they give great customer service, but the fact is some people don't. Too many people don't give great customer service, and their business doesn't work, and they don't know why.
Thanks for that, Carl. And you can download the Jim's book, which he voiced on gyms.net. Go to Meet Jim, and there's a free version.
You sound good. Good Australian voice, Carl. We like that.
Well done.
Had to be. Couldn't have an American accent. That wouldn't go too well.
So Red Wolf Consortium's gone here. For example, your hazmat franchise cost about $65,000. Would love to buy one, but I don't have that kind of money. Talked to my bank, but they said no, even though there's a weekly guarantee. Can we have a loan, or can you offer finances to potential franchisees?
We have a system through Jim's Finance has a system which allows borrowing for loans that otherwise wouldn't do. We actually have a sort of a 10% deposit from the franchisor that helps to cover the losses. So yeah, we can actually provide unsecured finance on some businesses, and they're actually reasonably good credit ratings. I was saying today, I wish if I had a lot of money, I'd finance franchisors into buying regional franchises. Right. Because it's actually a pretty good investment. You've got a very good chance of success.
So maybe flick us a DM. I can flick it to the business development team, and they can run with you from there. There's heaps of interactions still, a lot of people tuning in, which is great. I'll touch on one of the questions that was submitted last week. So Jared Golding via Facebook's gone, did you get any help when you decided to franchise your business? How did you know how to do it? So when you said, right, I'm going to franchise, did you have any help, or did you just investigate the whole thing yourself?
I went to see lawyers, but I can't say they were very helpful. mostly just obstructive and couldn't understand what I was doing. They kept on arguing with me, telling me I was being too nice and stuff. Yeah. And it was really strange. That was the hardest thing. But basically, I looked at the opposition, VIP in those days, didn't like their contract. I'm not in VIP, but I wouldn't sign it myself. I read books like Behind the Arches by Love about McDonald's. Okay. And I found the way that Kroc did it. I'm not comparing myself with Ray Kroc. He's obviously a little bit richer than I am from the start. But that kind of attitude. The interesting thing about Ray was that some of his first franchisees were millionaires before he drew any kind of salary from McDonald's. So he became a multi-billionaire with time, but he was very focused on his franchisees being successful, and he was very passionate about service. He was the kind of guy that would, in the early days especially, he would go and visit and he'd pick up rubbish from the streets around and he'd dump it on the desk of the manager because it upset him to see people not being looked after. So he was. I feel a lot in common with that genuine passion for franchisees and the passion for the business. And McDonald's is actually a pretty fair franchise even today. And Ray Kroc's long gone, of course. But there's been a lot of troubles with people like Retail Food Group, for example, and ripping off franchisees' blinds. But McDonald's is actually run pretty well. They made a big change recently in Australia, and it was something that was driven by the franchisees. Mm. So. I admire McDonald's. I don't like the food. I won't let my kids eat it, but as a franchise, it's great.
Thanks. That's a really good one. So I'll run through a few. Sean Daly's tuned in again. Thanks for tuning in, Sean. Dominic Bushell's gone on here. Jim's milking dairy farms. Not enough money in dairy farms, Dom. Jim says $60 an hour. I think if you ask a dairy farmer, they're earning not much at all. So I don't
possibly milk delivery might be, but primary production is a tough business. It's like manufacturing. It's so competitive and so hard. That's why the service industry is so good, There's nothing. Retail, you've got extortionate landlords and rents and stuff. I reckon, and manufacturing, you've got competition and primary production. They're always getting squeezed on the margins. That's why the franchise industry service franchise is such a brilliant industry.
That's it. So Alana Sadowski's tuned in. Her and Ron are tuning in again. Robin Mansell says hi. Hi, Robin. Jim's memeing. Thanks for tuning in again, mate. Brad Duncan. Jim should start a Jim's bus service. Yeah, Jim's bus service. Yeah, it does go to you. I don't know if there's a bus company that wants to rebrand with Jim's.
We tend to do things that other people don't do very well. I would never compete with the likes of Uber or Lyft or those kind of guys too, even though I think that's going to be the future, especially when they get self-drive cars going. But I don't believe in going up against the giants. We go to an area where there's not a lot of competition. I mean, honestly, who's doing service business properly these days?
So Jim's Mobile Tyres is tuned in, which is going well. I'll just run down a few more here. You's gone, are you going to use Jim's personal training in the gym at head office? So when you have the gym, they can do it there, yeah? Well,
actually, what I'd like to do is to get one of the personal trainers to come along and just do some work for my staff members. Again, because I believe in fitness. And I'm not being entirely altruistic about it. I just think that if you're fit, your mind works better. And you're more productive, you've got more energy, you've got more focus, and often 5 minutes of clear thinking is worth 5 days of slog and thinking about something and saying, why are we doing this, and what can we do about it?
Yeah, that's it. And there's a good one here on Adrian Bream's gone, hello, Jim. Would love to hear your thoughts on the importance of franchisees and small businesses giving back to their local community.
Well, I think it's great. Look, I think everybody should have a mission, a purpose in life. I don't think we should just live in a selfish way. I mean, it's not good in its own sake, but it's also not good for you. And somebody was asking me, I actually got an inquiry from this men's group in Queensland asking me, how as a business owner I stay motivated? And I say, well, look, it's a lot of things. It's having a great family. I've got a wonderful wife and my kids, spending time with them, and my church and my Bible study group and the fact that I believe in, but it's also the fact that I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in my business. I believe in helping people. And also the major thing that I do with my money is research into the mental illness and so forth, which is a passion of mine. So it's kind of, I think you got to have a purpose in life. To live a good life, your purpose can't just be yourself. And I think people who think that the more stuff you have and the more expensive cars and expensive holidays and great clothes and fine food and stuff, and think that somehow there's satisfaction in that, it's not. So yes, definitely do something beyond yourself. That to me is the secret of a good life. And there's actually a lot of research that actually suggests that is the secret to happiness. Not short-term pleasure seeking, not spending, not owning a lot of stuff, not making even a great income, but having some purpose in life. It's surprising actually that how much money you make beyond having a reasonable, you don't want to be short of money so you can't afford to pay your rent or buy your food, but beyond that, extra money doesn't make a lot of difference to happiness. But having a purpose, a sense of community, close relationships, doing something beyond yourself, that's part of what a really good life is about.
That's a great question, Adrian. Thanks for writing that one. I'll run through a few more here, then I'll ask one more. There's a lot of people still tuning in, Jim, 50 plus, which is great. So Sal John is tuned in again. Thanks for tuning in, Sal. Rob Ellis from Jim's Batteries in Warrigal. Thanks for coming back on board, Rob. I'll keep going down here. Tristan Cameron, Jim Scaffolding. I know Sean Daly, who always comes in and says Jim Scaffolding. So come to us. Send us a DM. I'll give you a business development, guys, and they'll get on to you straight away. Lance I'll go to this one first. Jacqueline Taylor's gone, just want you to know that I love that your company is so open to our Jim's memes, which is great, which has spawned us, which inspired us to do the Jim's logo comp based on all the great work that people do out there with our logo generator. We love it. We embrace it. I think at the start there might have been a bit of hesitation, but overall it's good fun and the majority of them are great. So keep it up.
Sometimes they go, they get a bit upset about things like that. And they had Jim's Holocaust, something like that. And a kind of, or Final Solution. I find that kind of stuff beyond the pale, but generally speaking, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we think it's great, and we love the work that people do, taking the time to do that. So Lance McCauley, this is a really good intro. I like this little one. Lance McCauley's gone, Uber mowing, only a matter of time. How can we prepare for this competition?
Uber mowing.
Uber mowing.
Look,
It's already there in a way, the air tasker and stuff. You have to.
yeah, they've got AirTasker and those kinds of things. Look, the thing is, it's really what matters is what experience does the customers have. It's not so much a matter of you can't market enough to make it worth your while. What happens when a customer contacts us? The reason we're successful, the reason we've got like 1 in 4 jobs on service these days, and it's worse than the work is rising a lot faster than our franchisee numbers, is because generally clients have a good experience of coming with us. And we've got a lot of automation stuff going now that we reckon in the next year we can actually drop our complaints in half by having better systems of IT and so forth. So that's what matters. Now, no matter how much you promote a business, if the customer experience isn't good, then they're not going to be successful. So I'm not too worried about it. What we have to do is to get better and better and better. And we have got better over the years. Our complaint rates dropped dramatically and it's continuing to drop. And over the next year, you'll see even further improvements in service and dropping levels of complaint.
Yeah.
That's what matters. It's not giant technology. It's the experience somebody has. Getting back to a customer fast, giving them a good response, giving them a fair quote. It doesn't have to be cheap too. I don't believe in cheap quotes, and doing a good job and satisfying the customer and being nice to deal with, all those kind of things too, which most of our franchisees do very well.
And that's an important point where you said, even though it might be, let's say, easier to access someone, but if that person comes and does a poor job, it doesn't matter how easy it is to access that person on the technology, you're never going to use them again, aren't you?
Yeah.
So,
see, one of our plans, for example, is we're developing some software, which means to say that we'll know when a franchisee rings back a client.
yeah.
So we'll be able to tell if they don't ring a client back within 2 hours, we'll know that. And that'll come and the franchisor can then ring them and say, how come you didn't get back? Or if they're saying our conversion rate isn't good, we say, well, it's taking you 35 minutes on average to get back to the client after you get a text. Hey, how about dropping that below 10 minutes? So we can help them to do better and pick up on problems faster and help them to be more successful, because there's a very big difference. Just as an example, our star rating system has been wonderful. It's helping us to actually do things better. We found, for example, that where our average franchisee star rating is 4.5, and as I said, most are actually 4.6 and above, the average franchisee who leaves in the first year has a rating of 4.1.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there's some good data on
And
that.
another study, we found that of the top franchises in the top quarter of our customer service ranking, they were 1/8 as likely to report poor income as those in the bottom quarter. So if we can teach our franchises and help them to give great customer service, it actually helps them to make more money and also helps Jim's Group as a whole to make more.
It's a really good question, Lance. And I think that's the conundrum that when we were talking about this a lot, it might be easy for you to access something on this end, but if your experience post that is so bad, it doesn't matter how good the technology on the front end is. You've got to have the system right the way through.
That's right.
To ensure.
Look, and I go through most complaints in the whole of Jim's Group every day myself personally, which really keeps me on the ball. And you see things like again and again, I'll never use gyms again when they've had a bad experience. That's very hurtful. And every time I see that, I think, okay, what can we do about it? I'm driven by that sort of stuff. It upsets me.
That's a great one. Just a bit of banter going here for Jim Scaffolding. So guys, approach us. Send us a DM, Tristan, Sean.
Look, every division starts the same
board.
way. Somebody comes to us and says, what about this?
Yeah.
And honestly, why is Jim's Building Inspection such a good division? Because you've got a great divisional. Why is dog wash going through a great divisional?
Correct.
Why is cleaning leaping ahead? Yes, it's a great business, but it didn't work well till Haydar took control. The right person leading it, anything can be successful.
That's a great one. So I'll run through a few more comments in here. Thanks everyone tuning in. There's still 53 people watching. It's great. Let us know you're here for like, comment, or question. If I don't get to it tonight, I'll bank it up next week. I promise you that. I always do. So we'll go down here. Jacqueline Taylor's gone, would you consider offering Jim's grass laying? The more grass you get out there, the more mowing business you get. Jimception. Julie from the call center has responded, we do that under landscaping. Yeah. So we can do that at the moment, Jacqueline. And thanks, Julie, for helping us out with that one. Brett Apty's gone, great show once again. Jim's mowing Hornsey Park. Thanks for tuning in. Jim's Pool Care, mobile pool shops. Thanks, Jim and Joel. Some great content and discussion tonight. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Jim's Pool Care, for tuning in. They're going really well. Jossie Brock, hi, Jim and Joel, from Jossie at Jim's Bookkeeping Southport. So thanks for tuning in. We do have Jim's Bookkeeping, so hit them up if you need any bookkeeping done. Kat Hayward has gone, thanks, Jim and Joel. Great live feed. Jim's Kitchens. So people might not realize we have Jim's Kitchens, but we do. So if you need to have a renovation or something, look up Jim's Kitchens, get onto him.
I think if somebody pointed the gun at my head and said, name all the gym's divisions in the next half hour, I'd probably be dead. I'd probably forget some. It's so many.
Yeah.
I get most of them. But,
You get a lot. Yeah, we're doing a funny video on Friday, which I'll release it next week, but you'll see a bit more from that. I'll run through a few more down here. Nellie Irwin's gone, hey, Jim, Jim's bookkeeping from Mount Low in far north Queensland, speaking our language. Thanks for bookkeeping franchisees tuning in. Jason Pollock tuned in, says, night, Jim and Joel, family calls. Another very great video. Awesome. Jet Candy's gone, does your training include modules on lead generation? That's a little quick question we can answer.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Well, not so much lead generation, but what we teach you self-marketing. I do a session on the Wednesday afternoon, which actually goes into how to find more work. And that includes things like offering freebies, which we pay for, and approaching people that you know, and also upselling and using your local networks, like your parents of kids at your school and friends and so forth. Yeah.
So if you come to training, you do 2 sessions, is that right? How many sessions do you do in the
I
franchisee
do the
training?
first one, which is the Gym's Ethos session on the Monday morning, and then I do another one, which is about income on the afternoon. And I go through all that sort of stuff, how to find more work, and then also how to increase your hourly rate too, which is just as important.
Yeah, and if you're a member of the public in your business, Jim does business consulting now. So if you go to gyms.net, meet Jim, you can set that up, and he also does a lot of talks as well. So feel free to use it. You know?
Actually, let me tell you a little secret. You can actually come to training. You don't have to commit to buying a franchise. You just have to commit enough to pay for the training, and you can come and learn everything that we can teach you in 3 days or 6 days or whatever, and you go and start your own business. It's fine. We've had people come to do the full franchise or training course, and then go off and start their own franchise.
Yeah, that was the New Zealand.
That's New Zealand. Yeah, she actually rang me up to say, "Hey, congratulate my son, my first franchisee." And I said, "Well, congratulations. I didn't know you joined." She said, "No, we didn't. I did it myself. But what you taught us was fantastic."
Yeah.
So we kind of tell people that. Now, the funny thing about that, of course, is that when they come here, they usually that impressed that they end up coming with anybody, no matter what they have in mind. But it's still very open. We actually preferentially do not sign a person before they train. We want you to go through the full course first. No commitment. There's no non-disclosure. There's nothing. Learn everything that we can tell you, and then make a decision about whether to join or not when you know it. And in fact, you cannot sign a regional franchise contract until you've gone through the entire course. One reason being that we actually fail people from courses, particularly franchisor courses. We had one course last year where we failed 2 out of 3 people who came.
That's very true. So thanks for that question, Jack. That was really cool. And thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been a lot of, I'll ask one more question, which was on the pre-submitted questions. So as I said, if I didn't get to your question, I'll put it on a piece of paper, and I always do, and I read them out and we flick them through the session. So we also cross-posted tonight. So if you did leave a question on another feed, we can only see it on the Gyms Group feed. And we'll award the books really shortly soon. Yeah. Jake's trying to send them through, but nothing's come through yet. But it might not have worked, but we'll have to look into that. And Julie's gone 53 divisions. So we do have 53 divisions and services. So you can go to gyms.net and check them all out. And they're all there. So I'll run through the last question, which is via Charlie Jackson. He's gone, what do you prefer, Star Wars or Star Trek, and why?
Oh, I like Star Wars.
Star Wars?
I love
so Star Wars man.
I love Star Wars. I went through all the 7 Star Wars with my son, my 9-year-old son, just in the last year, and it's fantastic. I love it.
So Jake's just telling me now that
I love the story of Anakin Skywalker going bad and all the moral conflict and stuff. I think that's fascinating. I actually like the sequels really well. I'm a great fan of Emperor Palpatine. I like the
really
villains.
Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, I like him. He's the sinister mastermind behind everything. My kids always think it's funny because when we watch The Simpsons, I love Montgomery Burns. If I'm in my office and The Simpsons playing and Montgomery Burns, I always come out. Oh, I love. He's my hero.
Montgomery Burns.
I love Monty Burns.
Really?
Excellent.
Really? That's a new one. I've never even heard that. I've been here for 8 years.
I'm a great fan of villains. I love the bad guys. Perhaps I'm not I'm not totally a bad guy myself, but I admire the villains. I love the way that Palpatine schemes to become the Galactic Emperor and all the different things, and he betrays everybody and stuff. I think that's fantastic. So,
really? Wow, there you go. You learn something new every day, and I've been here for 8 years. I did not expect that when I asked that question.
No.
Okay, so I'll run through here. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. We much appreciate it. I'm just being informed by Jake that the cross-posting didn't work, so that's not a bad thing. So next time, next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, hopefully we have the cross-posting work and hopefully our camera arrives.
But he's got a record of it, so we can actually...
Yeah, I'm hoping we go through it and check it out. But we've got a 4K camera, so this quality is going to go up, but when that comes. So we're waiting on for that to come, and it's going to be really cool. And what we're going to be able to do is flick your questions actually up into the live feed while the video is going. But thanks to everyone who's tuned in, left a comment, question, shared it, etc. So I'll just end with some bookkeeping stuff. So Jim's logo comp, head to jims.net, logo generator, and use the hashtag Jim's logo comp. I'll just show you the one that's in the lead for the engagements at the moment. There's 21 prizes, but everyone's got a really good chance. But this one at the moment's winning, Jim's hairdressing salon. Now, what do you reckon of the hair, Jim?
He's got more hair than I do.
So that one at the moment is definitely doing really well on the Facebook, on the Instagram page for Jim's meeting. So let's go for the books now, Jim. So what was your favourite question?
I like the one about local charities.
Local charities, which was...
I really like that.
All right, that was Adrian Broom. So Adrian Broom, we'll DM you. I'll write that down. If we don't DM you, can you please send us a message with your postal address? I think there's some sort
of contrast between being ethical and being successful. I find that actually the two are very closely inclined. People who care about others tend to do a lot better than those who just care for themselves first. I see it again and again.
I thought it was a really good...
Good on you, Adrian. Good question.
It's a great question, and definitely different questions we really like. So next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock.
I'll give you a clue. I like the oddball questions, the ones that are different. You know, asking why I lost my beard and stuff, and that's a bit old, but new ones are good.
Yes, Julie, employees can enter. So just upload it to social media and use hashtag Jim's logo comp at the end. The most engaged one will win the first prize, but the 20 ones that will be picked will be judged by internal Jim's staff, and that will pick their favourite ones, and we'll go from there. So Jim's book will go to Adrian Broom. And my one, I like Chris Hill. I was trying to scroll back up to find the question, but I've written your name down, Chris Hill. So I've liked your question. I'm just trying to remind what it was. If it allows me to scroll up, it won't let me go back that far. But Chris Hill's question got a really good response and answer out of Jim, which I like. So I'll DM you as well for your address. So Adrian Broom, thank you for your one. We'll get you that. And Chris Hill, I will get you that. And Wednesday, again, 7 o'clock next week, same time. Leave your questions and comments and stuff, and we'll bank them up for next week. But thanks to everyone who took the time to tune in. It's been a great bit of content from Jim. We've tried to get through everything on the feed, and we really do appreciate your tuning in. Next week, again, Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.